but New York is about to get crazy.
For me, when you ask what does it mean to be a democratic socialist, for me it means to be fighting for a society in which dignity is guaranteed to each and every member of this place. And I believe that the state should play a critical role in the distribution of that dignity and the ensuring that that dignity is actually received. This is one case where Republicans would be correct. There are taxes that I want to raise. They would like to portray this as me trying to raise taxes on someone making 50, 60, 70K, which is not the case. What we need to do is raise taxes on those who have more than enough and should share a little bit more with the rest of the society. There's nothing hidden from plain view about who I am and what I want to fight for. I'm not secretly telling everyone I'm a socialist now. This is something we built the campaign around.
Wow, Nicole, he's smiling about this stuff.
I mean, you would smile too. I mean, would you not? I mean, there are clips of him talking to groups of Muslims that are make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. We kind of joke around about, other nations and their immigration woes. But when we take a look at the UK and the absolute takeover by Muslims, leading cities, ushering in Sharia law, that's not something that we can have here in the United States. And people should be very wary of someone who tells you up front that the government is going to issue you your happiness. The government is going to issue you your joy. You should be very, very wary of that. And New Yorkers are tough people. They're smart people. But for whatever reason, they vote in droves in blue. And I know that the Muslims are going to show up in mass for this guy because they think Sharia law could help that city. They may or may not be wrong. They probably could use a little bit of discipline. But this is America, and we are not going to live through what the Brits are living through right now. We're just not going to do that. So I need every right-thinking person in New York to vote. Get out and do your thing. Your choices are pretty bad all the way around. But listen, the devil you don't know may be the worst devil yet. So I'm not saying I'm a Cuomo kind of girl. I'm not saying that. But this guy is telling you up front that he's taking everything you have and redistributing to you in the way that he sees fit.
And you heard what he said. He said, I'm not talking about 50,000, 60,000. Well, I hope you are not. I mean, that ain't no money really in New York City. So he's not talking about the millionaires, multimillionaires, and the billionaires. I mean, he started kind of low to me and talking about taking our money. I mean, Yana,
he didn't talk about taking his own money and distributing it. He didn't cover that part, right?
Right. I mean, Yana, this is a proud member of the Democrat Socialist of America Party. This is the same circus that gave us squad-style policies, defund the police, and economic chaos. Do you think he has a chance?
He might, unfortunately, in New York, he might, because, first of all, he's a total Marxist. I mean, he doesn't hide it. He is an actual proclaimed Marxist. He's a child of Indian Marxists who were Marxists back in India, and then I think they were in Africa at some point. That he was, and so they were total, completely infiltrated with Marxist ideas, and that's how he grew up. And then here in America, I read that he has what did he do? He has a degree in some strange Africana studies. I don't even know what that is. And and he was in college. He was a co-funder for Justice in Palestine movement. And the Marxists are all on these movements. They're working together. And he is very anti-police. He wants to. The reason why a lot of people will come out to vote for him probably is because he says that he wants to raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour.
Right. Tyrone, I gotta bring you in on that. I mean, $30 an hour minimum wage. He said free city bus rides, replace cops with social workers, rent freezes, universal health care. Tyrone, is any of this doable, and what will the city look like if this is put in place?
I'll answer that, but I just want to first point out how much he has in common with Marx, Engels, Bernie Sanders, AOC. None of these people have ever had a real job. Okay. And this guy has never had, he called himself a rapper at one point, and he helped produce some record album that his mother was putting together or something. But other than that, that's all he's done. It's like Ryan Dorsey down here in Baltimore City. Clown worked for his uncle's record store. Yeah, record. Okay. The 1980s technology. And other than that, you can see him biking around Baltimore like Pee Wee Herman. But the thing with, I hope he wins. I sincerely hope he wins. Nicole said New Yorkers are tough and smart. New Yorkers are tough. Smart? I mean, these people have Eric Adams, the disgraced Andrew Cuomo, and an avowed Marxist who's never signed the front or back of a paycheck, apparently. Okay. And New Yorkers are smart.
I didn't mean politically savvy.
This is what I doubt in any other way. You live in an overpriced office park that's dirty and dangerous. So I hope he wins because America needs him right now. We need him to get 18 good months in there to destroy New York ahead of the midterms. And I'm willing to sacrifice New Yorkers, okay, to have them usher in more Republicans control in the House and Senate. So what's his name again?
Zohran Mamdani.
Zohran Mamdani 2025. I'm behind you, brother. I wish I could vote for you.
Here he is in this next clip. Talk about what Nicole mentioned. Well, before we do, let me go to our super chats. Thank you all so much. All right, let's see here. We have Pastor Damon with the $10 super chat. Thank you for exposing the darkness. And Pastor Damon was on with me last night. He was on with us on Christian Conservative at KJ Christian Conservative. Folks, you got to go out back and check out. We have a clip of our segment on Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz interview, and it was on fire. I think we have some people in the chat that watched last night. Pastor Damon was on fire there, folks. It was a great, tremendous conversation. So please go and check it out at KJ Christian Conservative YouTube channel. But yes, I thank you so much. So yeah, we have a problem with this Zohran. Here he is in clip 1. Take a look at him talking about getting out the vote.
Alhamdulillah, there are 1 million Muslims in this city. 200,000 of us are registered to vote as Democrats. In the last election, only 7% of us voted. Now, I will not blame anyone because often it feels like there isn't much to vote for. But this June 24th, with early voting starting tomorrow, it is an opportunity for us to show that Muslims don't just belong in New York City, we also belong in City Hall. Because yesterday I stood on the debate and Andrew Cuomo stood next to me. And here was a man who was the governor for a decade, and he could not name a single mosque he had ever visited. He could not name it because he does not care.
All right. Nicole, what are your thoughts on that?
Beware, beware. It's a slippery slope. You think about that epic city they were trying to build in Texas, right? And what Governor Abbott had to do to shut that thing down. People don't think for one second that these people won't use our own laws and our freedom against us. They've done it to the UK. Right. When the number one baby name in the UK is Mohammed.
Yeah. And they're going around. Did you guys see the video of all these Muslims in the UK walking around shirtless, smacking themselves on their chest and pumping up their it's crazy. They're all shirtless and they're smacking themselves really hard in protest of the West. No deodorant, no soap. I mean, this thing is wild.
Prince,
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I do. William is going to be the last king of England, and he better keep the G5 fueled up and the engine on, okay? Because where the UK is going, he's going to need to be out of there. The monarchy is going to be the first thing they're not going to have that, okay? Yeah, William is definitely the last king of England, and
I'm sorry, I won't say Muslim. They're Islamists.
Islam is radical Islamicists.
Yeah, radical Islam.
They're not interested in assimilating into the culture of the UK. They are interested in bringing the culture that they fled into the UK, which is weird. But we see it here with Ilhan Omar.
Right, and we have to be careful here as well. We're a bigger country than the UK, and that's the only reason why we don't have as much of a problem with Islamists. But like we see in New York can be taken over by a Marxist Islamist. Like, that's insane. And we have to be really vigilant about that and come together as people who are Christian. They have to come together and really understand that there's an attack on the Christian world. I mean, have you seen what happened to Christians in Syria? I'm sorry, in Syria.
Yeah, Syria was Syria. That church. Yeah.
And it was, church was bombed and people were shot. It was a massacre. And we need to have an outcry in the rest of the world from Christians, from just people in general, or something like that. Why isn't there an outcry?
Going on in Nigeria too. Nigeria, they're killing Christians.
Yeah, they've been killing them for years.
And when something happens to the Muslims, they're very together.
They are.
They're very united. The leftists are united. We have to be better at this, at being united.
Right. A large part of the fault lies in we as Christians, because while Muslims and even Islamicists are interpreting their doctrine, we're over here worried about prosperity gospel. And if I give 10%, the master of the universe, God, is going to give me a material good. Okay. Right. The Black church especially has turned into nothing more than a social club / weekly motivational seminar. And so when you have that, marching to Jamal, do you think Jamal Bryant even knows where the hell Syria is? Okay, let alone the plight of the Christians in the country. So a large part of the fault lies with Christians, especially us Christians here in America.
Yeah, you're right. The Marxism and communism should be in opposition of Islam, shouldn't it? I mean, because I do have some friends that are Muslim, and they're very conservative. They're not for all this secularism and things like that. But here we see many on the left that are Muslim are leftists, are Marxists.
I can answer that.
Yes.
It's a really good question. And really what is happening is that both groups think that they're smarter than the other.
Right.
And each one of them thinks that they will use the other in order to reach their goals. So the communists are using Muslims in order to get them on their side with their calls for equality and whatever other benefits that you will be getting and the more wealth that you will have. And so they're using them for support in order to pull them onto the support for Marxists. And then the Muslims, the Islamists, the fundamentals, they're thinking, okay, I will use this platform as well to get ahead, because one thing about Marxists is that they believe in complete equality of ethnicities. So they will vote, they will put like a Muslim person in charge. And that's what they're hoping to get. And once the Islamists, the radicals are in charge, they will implement the Sharia law. That's that's the plan that they have.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback a little bit on that, Stalin eventually purged the Bolsheviks. So it's like there's no loyalty from the more Marxist mindset, especially when you get some of these radical personalities in charge. Yeah. So like Yana said, it's just a big self-serving power grab, basically.
Yeah,
but it's true that Muslims will suffer just as much if the Marxists are truly in charge.
Right. Absolutely. And not only just Muslims, but if we're talking about this New York City mayoral race, Jews. So we know that New York City is, a large has a large Jewish population outside of Israel. The UN, the global media, Wall Street, it's a large Jewish population. And this guy has put out some very anti-Jew rhetoric. He's compared he's the man who compared globalized the Intifada to the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, a vile insult to his Holocaust history. In 2017, he rapped a song sending love to the Holy Land Five that's convicted for funding Hamas terrorism. After October 7th, he went when of course innocent Israelis were butchered by Hamas. He said nothing about Hamas, but instead he's blamed Israel. So he is no friend to the Jewish community, and in fact, he's in total opposite. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and see what happens here. And this is another thing I've said for a while. Like the Black community, we talk about how many Blacks vote against their own interests. Will the Jewish community come out and vote against this man? Because he looks like he's coming for that community in New York.
And I'm hoping that would be an eye-opening situation for people who have been voting Democrat for decades. I'm hoping that once they see literally an Islamist, a person who wants to promote Sharia law, I hope this will be an eye-opening.